Welcome, welcome, welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I'm your host, Glenn Pooh Harding. And tonight, this is our 99th show. And we have a very special guest. But before that, I would like to send a big shout out to my guy, Eric Hicks, over at Game Over, for being our sponsor. Now back to the show. This basketball head is another Archbishop Molloy great that I competed against. And man, he was smooth with an all-around game and killer mentality. Looking for more exposure, he attended Berkshire Prep with Abdul Fox and my guy, Titus Stewart. At Berkshire, he brought that New York City swag with him and exploded on the scene, leading the team in scoring with 23 points a clip. He was also named All-New England and Honorable Mention All-American. By this time, he's being recruited by some of the top colleges in the country, but decided to take his talents to Boston College. He played in the golden era of the Big East, where he was captain and a 4-year starter and teammates with the great Dana Barros. This basketball head will go on to use his high-level court awareness, leadership skills, and shut down defense. Oh yeah, my guy was one of the best defensive players in the country. Facts. And he was the third lead rebounder in his team, only being a 6'4" guard. Trust me, he gave teams fits all over the court. And besides being a great player, he's an even better person. Without further ado, help me welcome to the show, Archbishop Molloy, Berkshire Prep, and Boston College great, Bobby Moran.
Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos, where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. 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 Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. 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 East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
Is that better?
There you go.
Yeah.
Much better, my brother.
Daughter said, she like, Daddy, what you doing? Daddy, what you doing?
Yo, how you still look like when we played with each other when you was like 16, 17, man?
Dude, I don't know, man. I just try to do the right thing, man. I never was into anything that wasn't good for me.
Good.
You know, I'm losing it though.
Look, brother, we getting to that point, man.
Yeah. I'm getting a little sunroof. I'm good.
It's so good. Well, listen, man. It's good to see you, man. Listen, brother. I remember when we was younger competing against each other, always showing love. Let me tell you, man, always have respect for each other and competed hard, man. And those are the things I remember, man. Yeah, man, for sure.
It was always good too. You one of the hardest working. You and I just go hard. We didn't know anything else.
That's the name of the song. That's the name of the intro song. Go hard or go home. That's it.
Yep.
We don't know about the in-between stuff.
No, I didn't understand it.
That's right. So look, the 99th show, we almost at the famous 100.
The Benjamin.
Right?
The Benjamin.
There you go. So I'm glad that, you know, this all worked out.
Yeah,
Titus wanted to, listen, Titus made this happen. And I told him, I was like, damn, I got somebody for Wednesday already. He was like, damn, G, I wanted to go out like that, man. I wanted my boy to be. I said, trust me, my boy too. It worked out fine, man. I'm glad.
God is good. That's what they say, right? All the time.
Yeah, all the time. That's right. So who introduced you to the game, B?
Man, my dad was a ball player. His dad was a ball player. So my dad played at boys and girls. I mean, he played at Boys High back in the
Boys
day.
High, that's right.
Yeah, it wasn't boys and girls because it was no girls at Boys High back in the day. And you know, you always want to follow your dad's footsteps. And
Right.
my grandfather, his name was Phineas Moran. He played at Brandeis up on
Wow.
68th Street. Remember we used to play back in the day at Brandeis?
Yeah. Listen, I always wondered why that place was so special. All the great games was held there.
Yep. And he actually he played there, and he was known back in the day during his time, during his era. So I'm
Wow.
I'm
Look
a
at
New
that.
York product, and you know, and my dad was known through the Parks and Queens, and you know, he actually went to West Virginia and played a little bit.
Wow.
Until he had my brother Bill, and then he had to come back and take care of business. But yeah, he played ball too. He was pretty good. Actually, I used to go to Lost Battalion Hall and watch him play.
Look at that, man.
Years ago.
Wow.
Yep.
Salute to Dad, man. I like to salute to all those people who kind of introduced us to the game, man, because it changed our life forever.
Yeah, it definitely changed mine, man. I wouldn't be here right now.
Definitely. So, was you under the tutelage of Vincent Smith as well?
Yeah, man. I tried to call Vincent yesterday. He didn't even. He said he's gonna call me back. I'm waiting for the call. Vince lives literally a half hour from California. Vince lives in Santa Clara. I don't know if he wants to let that all known, but Vince lives in Santa Clara, and he's like, I'm in Encino, right about half hour south of him. But he came over, man. Like Vince comes over my crib. You know, the pandemic's a little shady, but you know we keep
right.
6 feet. You know, I made him some salmon burgers and all that at the cribbo. Vince is over here. His nephew trains my my son, and yeah, he's gonna try to become an aim high product, and you know, and work out. My son is in seventh grade. He just turned 13. So it, you know, the lineage is gonna keep going. Hopefully, you know. So, but Vince,
Listen. I don't think he get enough credit.
Vince was the guy where because my dad was the type was like, man, go and see Vince, because I lived in Left Right for a hot second with my dad, because he lived in the United States building. So what happened was he was like, yo, go see Vince and stick with him. So we would go to OLA. I mean, they had Need Chibs, with Kenny Anderson, Adolphus Gaffney, Kelly Blue, my brother Bill. We would go to OLA and work out in the gym in the basement. Now, OLA, Our Ladies of Our Lady of Grace. No, get the initials there. I just know it's OLA. The basement gym was like, it wasn't wood. It was like cement, like concrete. Yo,
so y'all like playing outside?
It was like playing outside, but the sad part, you couldn't shoot jumpers from the corners, because you know how it had the pillars or whatever. But,
yes, for sure.
Yeah.
My school is like that right now. Trust me. Yes.
What school you at again?
Well, we got wood floors. I'm at Martin Porres. We had a great gym when we was in Rockaway, but we changed schools. You know, the downsize a little bit. Yeah. And our court now is not conducive to running a full court game. Yeah. You can play ball in there, but you ain't running no full court, having no games there.
Yeah.
So, but I understand what you're saying with the pillars, because next door is a church, and was it little Catholic school?
Yeah, it's a little Catholic school, man. We definitely worked out a lot in there, and then we would go to Lost Battalion and work out. So. But man, it was so funny you say Vincent, because you know that's my man right there. He really took care of me, so much so that like when I say when my dad was like, go hang out with Vince, like Vince took me to the Brooklyn Queens dialysis game, like when Kenny, who played at Molloy, played against Mark Jackson in the championship. Like they were
Wow.
playing the diastasis games.
Yes.
I think it was in Brooklyn, and so I'm tagging along with Vince, hanging out with him. Oh, we're gonna go see King play. All right, cool. At Molloy. So this is me when I'm a 7th, 8th grade, a little guy. And I met Ralph Sampson that same time because they were getting recruited from Virginia. All the top, coaches would come and see him. So I'm standing on the bleachers. Ralph is 7'4", and I'm looking at him like he was looking down at me, and I'm still standing on the bleachers. So it was funny too because when they had All-Star Weekend and I saw Ralph Sampson again. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, damn, he still make me feel tiny. And I'm a grown-up.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, so it's funny. And it's all because, I went to, when he went to North Carolina, I went to Madison Square Garden, met Jordan. I didn't know Jordan was Jordan, but I met Jordan. I went to the practice, and I went into the locker room, and, talking to Kenny, about, oh, good practice today, blah, blah, blah. Sam Perkins walking by, Jordan walking by. I was just like, damn, I didn't know they would become,
Listen,
the icons of
right. When you're a kid, you just don't know. You don't know.
So, but it was like one of those things. That's why I say Vincent's my man. And then I when he comes over and I tell him, I was like, man, anything you want, anything you need, I mean, you can come over every Sunday for the next 4,000 Sundays. I can never repay him back for all of the wonderful things that he blessed me with. So yeah, that's my man. Vince is a good dude.
If he ever wants to talk, because let me tell you, Kenny Anderson said the same thing.
Yeah.
Jason Gilliam said the same thing. Abdul Fox said the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? You go on, you said all the guys who came up here give Vincent flowers, man, and I don't think people talk about him enough or revere him enough because that's how the Queens, trust me, if you was a ball player, you had to go through Vince.
Yeah.
And he taught you the right way.
Yeah,
because look,
right way.
all of you guys was killers. None of you guys was like soft, right?
Yeah.
You guys could have went and played anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you saw one of the photos I sent you in my senior year with all the letters in the room. Did you see that? I sent you something.
No, I'm definitely gonna put that up. Trust me.
and that all those, the hard work that Vincent did, and actually the other guy who's just a scout, Tom Konchowski.
Listen, let me tell you, fam. Tom Konchowski changed my life.
Exactly, that guy can do it.
After we won city championship at Lincoln,
yeah,
my coach told me, like, listen, Glenn.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna graduate, right?
Yeah.
Got to go to prep school. Got to get your grades straight. We had a meeting with Tom Konchowski, myself, and my coach, and we went on a prep school run. We called Oak Hill and we called MCI.
Okay.
And I wound up going to MCI.
Awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
So I always thank Tom Konchowski for helping me change the course of my life because he definitely had a hand in doing that, along with my coach and the hard work that we put in as players. But he definitely deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, Tom does that. He's that type of guy, and I actually saw him a couple of years back at the Molloy Rays game, and he stopped. Oh my God, Bobby ran, and I was with my little guy. And I'm with Ralph James. Ralph is like my boy too. So we all hanging out. We went to the game, and he told my son some great things about me that I don't remember. Nice thing for him to do. He didn't have to do that, but he did. That's just the kind of guy.
He doesn't forget. Yeah. That's the thing about it. He doesn't forget. If you definitely your player that had an impact in New York City basketball in any kind of way, he's going to remember you.
Yeah. So I see my boy.
You're kind of fuzzy right now. Hold on. Fuzzy right now. Give me a thumbs up if you see Bob clear, because I see you kind of fuzzy. My guy Toof said what's up. Yeah. He said it's Toof from Lincoln Park.
Yeah, I know Toof. Toof.
Okay, cool.
my boy Trey Bag is like peanut butter and jelly, them tight. You know what I'm saying? So Tube is the man. He's a good dude.
Yes, yes. Hold on, I'm trying to make sure. All right, you good. He said everybody said you good. Thank you, thank you. What up, D?
All right.
Down Coaxum in the building. My man Ballhead in the building. All right, so now we got to that. What would you say you was a late bloomer or you caught on really quickly?
You know, I think I was better when I was younger. In terms of and it's because of his toolage. I kind of Vince, going back to Vince, my handles was crazy. I was a problem early. But then, you know, I think my game changed slightly, especially I've been more of a like defensive. I was in shape, dude. When I went to prep school, I ran cross country. I just got in like speed, shape. I was like defense and just trying to lock people down. And it's also difficult when you got pros on the team who's taking all the shot. You feel me? So it was all good. I definitely I said, man, I got to steal the ball to get the ball to make a layup on the other end.
How you not getting it? Right.
You know, it goes, you know, come back sometimes.
Man, when I used to run up against you, I could see a lot of myself in you.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Could shoot, could defend, could handle, pass, do a lot of things very well.
Yeah.
And always, you know, held high respect for you because it wasn't too many guys in high school, right? A lot of those dudes 6'4", 6'3", 6'5", 6'6", they were stuck in the hole.
Yeah, they got to play down low.
Right.
I was a guard.
For sure.
I played 1, 2, and 3. When we played against St. John's, I had to guard Malik. He like 6'6", 6'7". I go my senior year, I go down to Duke and play Duke. I gotta play.
Hold on. You going moving too fast. Hold on. Yeah. Because fam, you played in the golden era, the Big East.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
Facts.
Crazy.
Who was the best player when you was coming up in your neighborhood?
In my neighborhood, who was the best player? It was weird because I lived in Left Right. And then I lived over near Lincoln. So like my grandmother lived over there, 135th Street. And then my dad lived in United States building in Left Right. So I was kind of like between both spots. And I gotta say, who was I gotta say by either one, there was a kid by the name of Kenny Norwood growing up who, he was like 6'5", dark-skinned guy. He can do everything. When I say everything, shoot, dribble. Kenny Norwood was probably the best at Lincoln Park era. With me growing up and idolizing, I was like, man, this guy was doing stuff like you know, like Dr. J behind the backboard, reverse finger rolling, and
I just wrote his name down. Kenny Norwood. We got definitely.
Kenny Norwood was one of the best I've seen from the neighborhood. And on the other side, I remember Kenny Anderson joined.
Because I was about to say, be careful, because he just joined the room.
Now Kenny Anderson was amazing, but he was 2 years. But we actually played on the same team together. A lot of times through Riverside and through being in Left Right, because he was a prodigy.
Right.
He was a prodigy. So he was a problem. But I think in Left Right, it had to be Kenny, probably the best guard. I mean, he was all American. He was all everything.
That's right.
There was a few people that there was a guy named Greg. What's Greg's last name? Greg. He was from Left Right. He's like 6'6". He went to Bound. He scored a bunch of points. But Greg was awesome. But he's no Kenny. Kenny the Jet. I mean, he was the shit, and everybody looked up to him.
Yeah, but he was already gone. He was already gone already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's 4 years. So when I was a freshman in high school, he was a freshman in. I think he was a freshman in. Like we missed each other.
Yes. Okay.
You know, so, but I look. You said who I looked up to, right? More so than. And I looked up to him because I saw him a lot because his brother, you know, he was, you know, working out in the gym. We all worked out during the same time. So, but Greg was no joke, and then Kenny Norwood from the other side was no joke.
No doubt.
You know.
What junior high school did you play for, Bob?
Well, I went to junior high school 210, and we didn't really. I mean, we played against the faculty. And we blew them out, but you know, I remember that my 8th grade, you know, we had a couple of guys that was from the we say the other side, but they were from Baisley, you know, area, and you know, everybody to Howard Beach, where 210 was. I don't know if you know where 210 is located. It's on 101st Avenue, but it's all the way down near Woodhaven Boulevard. So that's like Howard Beach area almost.
Got you.
And it was shipped over there. So I mean, I was one of the better players, but I probably was one of the better players during that time. And we played the teachers. That was our big claim to fame. We didn't go like these kids now. They go and play all over the place and play different junior high schools. But yeah. But I played on like, you know, Riverside. so I was.
Yeah, that's enough right there, fam.
Exactly.
That's a good enough springboard to get you into any high school that you want to get into.
Exactly. So I played Riverside, and I, you know, I was lucky enough to you know, 14, 15 on their travel team. And I mean,
you had a home team and a travel team.
I was on the travel team. And it was
and if somebody nice enough came along and you was on the travel team, you may get bumped and sent on the whole team.
You got it. Because I mean, we went everywhere. I mean, some of the guys on my team, man, they all went D1, just about everyone.
Who? Like who?
Malik was a junior, but he played with us.
Facts. And R.I.P. to Malik Sealy.
Okay, you had Sean Green, who was our center at like 6'5". You had Mo Kirby from Brooklyn. You had
R.I.P. Mo Kirby, another great, yeah.
You had Antoine Lewis.
Antoine Lewis.
Wow. Antoine Lewis, the old man, we called him.
Yes.
You had my boy Ralph James.
Yes.
Who was all everything.
Mr. Fitness guy, always working out every day.
He's pumped now. You guys see him. We had a guy named Kenny Boyle, Knock Nose.
Yeah.
We had Knock Nose on the team. Who else we had? We had Pat Burke, left hand.
Pat Burke, yes.
Pat was nice.
Pat was on here too. That's my guy. I see him all the time. I'm gonna tell him you said what's up.
We had Eric Ice Leslie. I mean, we had a bomb, man.
First of all, somebody need to find Ice. Where are you, fam? Ice is missing. He's like ghost. Yeah, we love you, Ice. We love you.
We definitely love Ice.
Fact.
So that team. I'm forgetting a few others. But
listen, I remember the team, guy. I just wanted you to show love.
Yeah,
and put their name in the air, man.
Yeah. So we had an unbelievable team. I mean, I remember, and you know, I know you went. I remember going down to Virginia Beach and playing against Alonzo's team, and we scraped them. Alonzo was a junior.
His high school team?
He's a year behind.
Oh, the Boo Williams team.
The Boo Williams.
That they had. Yeah. Let me tell you.
You know.
Let me tell you a story real quick.
Yeah.
We go down to BC. BC camp, and our bus pull up. And they playing New York, right? The Frank Sinatra song.
Yeah.
The Virginia bus pulls up, and they playing Shirley Murdoch is morning. We thought we were this, right?
Yeah.
The song was for all of us.
Wow.
But the Shirley Murdoch song was only for Alonzo Mourning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Mourning was the real.
Now, please tell us how you kicked these guys' ass.
Yo, we had. I mean, they had him and a couple of other really good players, but we actually brought Kenny with us, and we pressed them like crazy.
That helped.
We were all over them. I mean, when you got myself, guys, Ralph, who's Ralph jumped 23 feet in high school. He was like Ralph is a great athlete. Ralph jumped 23
yeah. And he was even back then, he was a physical specimen.
He's a physical
back
specimen.
then, Ralph.
Back then. So, I mean,
yes.
He still is now. But yeah, so he was a great athlete. And so when you had these types of individuals on the team, we pressed and pressed and pressed. They wasn't ready for us. And we was going to the Baja. They don't know what the Baja is, but we would go into the Baja every time. And ones. And we came out victorious. But the one thing that Ralph never forgets, of course, I'm back on the break. A lot that, they break out press that one time. Lonzo get the ball. He dunks it. I'm the closest to him. And he always gives me a hard time about, he dunked on you. I mean, I said, the guy is 6'10", what you expect. He's a junior back then. Took the ball real quick, turned the ball right around, laid the ball up. I was like, you got to get used to getting dunked on by 6'10" guys.
Yeah, I tell kids all the time, if you don't get shook, if you don't get dunked on, you ain't part of the game.
No, you're not.
Like, you're not going where the action is at. Like, you stand away, you probably do it at the end of the day, that's probably going to be on the bench. Because you got to be where the action is.
Yeah. Right. Facts.
This is what it is, man.
Yeah, and that's what, and I think I can block everything, even at my height. I jumped, and I shouldn't have jumped, but I took that ball out quick. But it was one of those things.
Short memory. Yeah. That's another thing in basketball. You have to have a short memory.
Yep. Can't let that hold you down.
You can't, because the game is moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have time to be worried about you got dunked on.
Yeah. So that team, we went up to Boston, we went to Vegas, Florida. I mean, we had, the stories that one can tell about all of the shenanigans that were going on.
Yeah, especially when we young, man. Trust me, I know about the road stories.
We had a great time, man. So all those guys, like I said, Pat and Ralph and all of them, we had such a good time. So, but any other?
That's good.
What do you want to focus on? You want to focus on? I
already got my questions there. Okay. So we do. I'm already good. Okay. I don't come to these things unprepared, fam. Trust me.
I see.
Even though I had to whip this up, because
Yeah.
Let me explain. Tonight we're supposed to have Jaleel Tripp, right?
Yeah, Jaleel.
I thought I was communicating with Jaleel.
Okay.
Who went to Lincoln, right? Went to Pacific, and now he's gonna be playing for the Grizzlies.
Awesome.
But I wasn't communicating with him. And when the page I thought I was following just opened up today, because it'd be on request, you can't see the profile.
Okay.
Saw it today, so it wasn't him. I was like, damn, I reached out to Tiny, hit my guy Bernard Mitchell up, who coached him, and I was like, hit him up and let him know that, I apologize for the mix-up, and I didn't want to mean like I was trolling him.
Yeah.
And in saying that, all we want to do is celebrate him anyway.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
But it all worked out.
Yeah, that's great.
Because I'm here with my guy, man. This is good.
Yeah, it's good seeing you, man. It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Yeah. So we already know, before you even entered junior high school, you was going to Molloy.
Yes, before. Yeah.
Right? Facts. And I want to say this too. Our guy Russell Williams, who went to McClancy, want to say what's up.
Hey, what's up, man?
Russ Williams, man, from McClancy. That's right.
Yeah. Tell Russ I said what's up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, Molloy, did you play with Kenny?
No, Kenny younger and older. I only played freshman year at Molloy. I played with some.
And then you left.
And then I bounced. I went to prep school. And that whole thing was.
What year did you go to prep school?
I went in 80, I want to say 85. 85.
Oh,
I went in
that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I get it. Now I get it. Yes, because if you don't leave,
it would have been tough. I mean, they won everything anyway, just about. And then
I you know, Kenny hates when I bring this up, but I'm saying if you would have left and you would have been then 86.
Yeah.
They had a monster. Yeah, they had a monster team.
They had a monster team. I mean,
Why did you leave?
Well, this public schools, you know, Molloy's a hard school. It ain't easy. You know what I mean? And I can say that, you know, in school, I'm always quiet. I'm reserved anyway, but in school, I'm really like, especially if, you know, Molloy is you know, majority white. I didn't know those guys. I knew a few guys on the team, and I didn't really speak up. But, you know, I didn't speak and say I had issues with certain classes. I failed 2 classes, and they was like, oh, you are out of the school. You need to, like, take summer courses, which I passed, right? And then they were like, well, school. And that was the best thing for me at the time. And it definitely had me focus more on school. And I was always at coach at Fordham every year. And, you know, he's like, don't worry, we'll look out for you. And it worked out. I mean, I couldn't go on to a bigger conference, you know. So
Oh, I know. But did you, from Molloy to Berkshire, did you have the same plug that Titus had? And those guys had that, I think, a coach that was at Molloy went to Berkshire?
Yeah.
And that was kind of the connection?
Yeah. So the connection was Coach Durier, who he actually went to, which was in the city first. Like Molloy is a derivative of St. Anne's that came from the city, and they, you know, post up in Queens. So he coached them. I mean, Mr. Curran was there forever. So, right. So he coached my coach that was at prep school. So and then my junior year we lost in the semis, and then my senior year we took it. So, and we took New England's. So
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So yeah.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
And then Abdul went, Titus came my senior year. So, you know, all the boys, we were up there. We were doing our thing. So it was
How was Titus as a player, man?
Titus was scrappy. He's like, he was no hard-nosed defense. You ain't getting past him. He feels bad when you pass him. Like floor general. You go here, I go there. Floor general, and he can make free throws. I tell you that, he made 7 for us to go up.
Yeah.
In the championship.
Listen, I first of all, I don't think people really understand that. If you're a guard and you can't make free throws, you're not going to be playing too much.
Nah. You're right.
That's just what it is.
Yeah.
That's usually reserved for a big man. If you're a guard and you can't shoot free throws, yeah.
Like Shaq.
Yeah. So true.
Can't make me do
So
it.
true, man. So you coming from Molloy, having trouble academically, then going to Berkshire, all these rich kids, another total culture shock. What life lessons did Berkshire teach you?
Oh man, first of all, the whole thing of being humility, you know, like trying to not feel like you're bigger than life. When you see guys flying into prep school with helicopters, their families filthy, wealthy.
Hold on. Abdul said the same shit. It's like, he said the same exact thing. Families coming in on helicopters.
Every of them.
Just imagine you're in high school.
Friends is like,
that's crazy.
You want to drive my dad's Benz? Like he has a 5 SEL Benz. You want to drive it? I don't even have a license. I was like, hell yeah, I want to drive it. Like it happened. That's like if something happens, don't worry about it. That sort of thing. One of the girls had a Porsche. Drive, you know, parents' weekend. She got drunk, came back to the campus and hit her Porsche. It was her Porsche into the tennis courts. Like, and it was like no big deal. Like it was
happened in my school too. This kid drove a Benz. You know, he had a BMW, crashed it. Mom sent him a Benz the next month. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's seeing how other people live and see how they are. I mean, it's one of those things. Like, man, someday I want to have a BMW. Someday I want to, you know, like I'm from the hood, dude.
Right. And they getting it now.
Yeah. I'm trying to make it work now. We're from the gutter, and now to see how they do it, you know, it's just like, man, that's a big disparity in terms of like we're here and they're up there, and we still have a separation, but it's not as pronounced as it has been. You know what I mean? So, but good. But you know what's interesting? My daughter goes to is there. At my school that I went to.
Wow.
You know, she got an academic scholarship. You know what I mean? And she's doing really well. President of her class, made the soccer team as a freshman. So she's going to Berkshire, keeping it alive.
Keeping it going on. But hey, Dad, when you got your opportunity to go there, you made it count. So they would never forget.
Yeah, they don't forget. I show them up all the time when I go up. You see those banners up there? You know, but
that's me. That's who.
no, but they're good people. They so nice.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna have my daughter go up there and learn and see how they really embrace me as a person and got me to, you know, pass those SATs, make sure I was eligible for BC. You know, it's a blessing. And and I still know a few people that's still there because, you know, it's been a little while since I've been there, you know, going to school.
Right.
So, and I try to go to alumni games and functions and try to be supportive of the school. We're actually doing some stuff right now regarding the like diversity and inclusion. I'm like working on one of the teams to try to get more people of color to, you know, alumni to, you know, sit and talk about how to improve it even more, because, you know, since, you know, how things were going on this past year about race and we want to make sure that at my alma mater is not having any issues surrounding that. And there's still, you know, some issues, but we're trying to attack it from the alumni and then from the students itself. One of my good friends, he's on the board, Kenny Cord. He has 2 girls that go there. He actually is from Southampton. He's a good dude. He was there when I was there. And basically we're trying to, you know, work together with everybody to do that. So, you know.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. That's awesome. Because that's a move in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I think kids and future generations would benefit from that.
Exactly.
And salute to your daughter for going there on not a basketball scholarship, but an academic scholarship.
Yeah, she get all.
Good job, Dad.
Yeah. Yeah,
Good job.
that's my main thing, man, is making sure my kids, you want your kids to do better than what you have done. And that, both my wife and I was like, okay, we try to, put our little money together and whatever that she, fly her back and forth because we're in California, to go to school there. Like I come out like I was out there November 21st to bring her back home for Thanksgiving. And now she's going back in January because they which was great. I like the way the school is like, man, we don't want you to come back from Thanksgiving with COVID going on and everything else. So we want to hold off. You take your test, then you come back after Christmas because now Christmas over, and then you stay there for the duration. You know what I mean? So it's I like the way that they did their thing up there with regards to keeping the kids safe.
Yeah, that's the home away from home.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about not being recruited as much in Molloy, right? Because things wasn't going the way you wanted to go.
Yeah.
And then you go to Berkshire, and it's a totally different world, but you excel.
Yeah. I think one of the things was that being Berkshire is only 2 hours north of the city. That's like, you got Brew Palling, and then you got a couple of miles on the Taconic, and you're right at Berkshire, and it's beautiful up there. If anybody, wanted to go and visit, I think is one of the beautiful places in America. But I'm a little biased, but yeah. So I think I did well because the people that there wanted me to succeed and do well. And one of the things was that I was back in the city every summer. We got out in May, so when summer happened, when summer leagues was going on, I was with Riverside working on my game. I remember I think the most important year was going into my senior year, where that junior year I went to 5-star. And Tom Konchowski was there. And we were in Holmesdale in PA, and it was a shack. We all was in that joint. I mean, our accommodations wasn't the best, but I met some great guys that we played against, like Bobby Martin, who was a great guy. He went to Pittsburgh. He was asleep. He was like we were all roommates. Greg Kubak, who went to
Shaninda Hoa, that's my guy.
Yeah. Nice
guy.
Guy. He was there.
He went to Duke. Yeah.
He went to Duke. Nice guy. So this is what was the guy in Providence? So many people. I'm like blanking on names, but it was the guard who was supposed to be everything. He went to UVA. John Crotty. I locked his ass up.
Yo, let's make some noise for that right there for sure. So that's right there. That's an official fact. I told you my guy was one of the best defensive players in the country.
Yeah, so
I'm telling you.
At the camp, Greg was on my team. We had a couple of great I had a great teammates, and I tell you, I didn't miss a shot all camp. And my defense was my defense, which has always been, my claim to fame. And I made the All-Star team, and we won the All-Star team. Malik was on my team. So, me, Malik, Greg, we had the big kid that went to Syracuse. What was his name? Big white kid. But we had a really, really good
you talking about Conrad.
Well, Conrad was there. Conrad's on my team too.
Yeah.
McCray, he was on my team.
Right.
It was Conrad. Right. Conrad was on the team, but he was.
Rest in peace, Conrad, man. And Malik Philly, man.
That's my dude. Conrad was one of the good dudes. Conrad, for some reason, I think Conrad was Malik's year. Right? I thought Conrad was a year behind me.
I think so. Malik was, I think, a year ahead of Conrad. I'm not sure. No, yeah. Because Malik was a senior when I was a junior. He was a year ahead of us.
So you Kenny's year then?
No, I'm ahead of Kenny. When Kenny
Oh,
was a
by 1
freshman,
year.
I was a junior. No. When Kenny was a freshman, I was a junior. Because the year we won the city championship in '86, I was a junior, and Kenny was a freshman.
Okay.
Because he only played 3 quarters.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, trust me, I remember.
I can imagine. So that makes, so Conrad was a senior? Because he graduated in '86.
No. Conrad did graduate in '86. I think Conrad got to be a year younger than me.
So he must have been a year. So
Or we came out the same year. Either or.
Because I thought he was.
I'm not.
I thought Conrad was.
Hold on. Go ahead. Keep talking. Go ahead. I got you.
He was one of the top. He was a top sophomore, and then I was a junior.
Right.
They were like, this guy is going to be one of the top. He was an All-American. He was all everything. So they actually had him playing with us because he was so good.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure he was. And then at St. John's, I think he was a year behind me. I thought he was me. I don't think he was 2 years behind me.
So
anyway.
Hold on. He played for Syracuse 1989 and 93. He was a year behind me. I graduated in 92.
So he was a sophomore too. No, he was a sophomore too. Maybe
he was a sophomore then. That means he was a sophomore because me and you came out at the same time. Yes.
Yeah. He was a sophomore. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, he was so good, man.
He was, man.
Conrad was one of those guys that pin the ball on the backboard and just start the fast break.
Yes.
And then his vertical was unbelievable. Great.
I think he would have truly been a Hall of Famer and been on a championship team.
Yes.
Somewhere down the line.
Yeah. He was that good. And it was just.
And he had a great personality.
Great.
A nasty on the court, but off the court, had a great personality. Yes.
Absolutely. That's right. Wow. So that was one of the things that going to that camp kind of took me to another level when I was playing against, guys that were from other states, and I held my own. You know what I mean? And I think that kind of helped me. And then when we went to these different places and played against Larry Johnson and LeBradford Smith, they all were from Dallas. They were the only team that beat us. We went out to the Great Western Shootout, and they were the only team that beat us. I tell you, Larry Johnson was a grown-ass man. I
was about to say that. Shoulders love to hear, right?
So Larry and Sean was going at it. Sean Green, who was our center, and Larry's a little taller than he is, but it was one of those things where. But then they had like a shooter, LeBradford. I mean, they were, like I said, we lost to them I think in the championship and the Great Western Shootout in Arizona. In Arizona,
LeBradford Smith.
Yeah.
I forgot what camp we was at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I don't know if we was still at BC. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But he was in the dunk contest.
Yeah.
He had 2 guys in front of the table bending down like this in the hip hop stand.
Uh-huh.
He had one dude laying across the table,
mm-hmm.
and he jumped over these motherfuckers from the dots.
Yeah, no. It was crazy. And now Sean Green got ups, so they were going.
Sean Green threw up between his legs, crazy.
Yeah.
Right down before it was fashionable. The first person I saw do that was Mark Doc Brown in '85, and I think Sean did it either in '86 or '87.
Yeah, Sean had a serious vertical, and they were going at it in Arizona because the little dunk contests they would have. But it was LeBradford, and I mean we couldn't. They were the only team that gave us really competition that was out there. We blew everybody else out, but that team we lost to. Close game. It wasn't like it was a close game, but they were really good. They were really good.
Y'all was playing against some dogs, man.
Yeah.
Dogs, man.
They were real dogs, and they were big. We were just small, too small for them. They were just big and good. I mean, when you got both going for you, they were like a NBA team, and we were like a really good college team. You know what I mean? In high school.
Yeah, I was watching the other day the Gauchos 12 and under versus Black Ops from DC.
Oh.
Those kids in DC was so much bigger than our kids. It was ridiculous. Like I was looking at from the guards to the forwards to the every position. DC, that DC, Maryland, Virginia area, they got some ballers down there.
It's a hotbed. But one of the things that nowadays that I don't particularly, I'm not a fan of it, is the reclass.
That's the question. How do you feel about that?
Oh, well, everyone's doing it. And, one of the things that I guess does happen is that, you have a range, but when you do it 2 and 3 times and if you in high school and you over, 19 years old, and you getting close to 20, I'm like, you a man. You like, why you continue to try to reach so you can go to a better school? And that I don't recommend that. Now, if you like my son is his birthday is in the middle of the year. He's in July like me. So, and my daughter's May.
What day in July? Mine's July 2nd.
His is the 18th, and I'm the 15th. So we're all canceled. Okay. So we're good people.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
That's how we are. So, my thing is, when you graduate, right, and you're 18, about to turn 19, that's fine. Or even 19, if you're 18, about to turn 19, I think that's fine. That means you maybe even started late or you reclassed.
Yeah, which I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's okay. But when you gets to be 20 and you still in high school, I got problems with that. Like I got problems with that. You should, problems in the sense where I don't think that's fair to everyone else. There should be some kind of limit of when you can play up until because I don't think that I think it's unfair. You should just move on and then go to college, and wherever college you are at that point, good at. If that means Division II, or if that means you have to go to JUCO, then do that. And then then hopefully you can get to a 4-year school. But I know I just have a little bit of a problem with the reclass, because when you go down to a Boo Williams tournament, an AAU team, right, and you see these kids, you're like, they gotta be 15. Why they just 13-year-old kids, or 12-year-old kids, and they looking like they're 15? We went down there. My son actually played up with Playtime Panthers from New Jersey, and we played against a team from Delaware. And the team was they were losing, and they were pretty good. And then all of a sudden they got some guys, and we asked the other team that we knew were from New York. They were like, I'm like, well, did they have these guys on the team when you played them? They're like, no. Where these guys come from? They switch in names of cards or whatever. So I'm like, but
that's the adults right there.
Yes, because the kids aren't going to do that. The kids is like, oh, let's see if we can win. And I always played up. I didn't play down. Growing up, I always played with older people because I felt like that they want to get my game better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you play with older guys, say, so you get better playing against older guys. You don't get better. I never felt like you got better playing with younger individuals, because that's not, even though Kenny played up all the time with us and Malik.
Man, listen, my artist, I don't know where he's at, but he definitely joined your picture somewhere. Okay. Anyway, he always complained like, yo, G, every tournament I go into, there's always 2 or 3 teams that have ringers.
Ringers, yeah.
And he said, I've got to the point where I have to bring one or two kids just in case.
Yeah.
This happened. And I'm saying it's crazy that
Yeah.
we're getting to the point where it's like that.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, you had one or two ringers.
Yeah.
But once we found out who the ringers were, we make sure we bust their ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? But nowadays, I think a lot of the coaches, they want to win so bad.
That's what it is.
And they're doing anything to win a basketball game where it's really not teaching the kids anything. Because when those kids run against those dogs who don't give what age you are, and they got game like a grown man, then you're going to get exposed.
Yep. Yep. So that.
Yeah. So how's the transition from Molloy to Berkshire and from Berkshire to Boston College now? Because you averaging 23 points a clip. You doing work at all these camps.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All New England, winning the chip, confidence sky high.
Yeah.
Now you're going into the Big East.
Yeah. So this is, I'm going to take a little step back just because I think it just should be said. The conference that I was in was decent. It wasn't, you know, like how it is in New York City when you guys play against Grady and all those crazy schools, but it was decent. And I tell you, and I want to give a shout out to Tom and Coach Curran, because there were people that came to watch us play, and I think some other kids probably got noticed because they came to the gym. You know, sometimes he's like, oh, this guy from Marquette's here. Guy, you know, you got a coach from Connecticut, from North Carolina. Like people would come and after the game, oh, you know, say a few words and just keep it moving. But one guy who fast hands Eddie Jordan.
Yes. Trust me, he was recruiting me as well to MCI.
Yeah.
Cool, smooth dude.
It was because of him I went to BC, because he was a black man who was cool, and he played in the league. He played, he won, you know, at Rutgers in the 70s. I mean, really, really good dude. And he was like, yo, I think you be. So that's why I selected BC. And the other big thing about it was, and I get to come home to St. John's and to see, and, you know, I can see my family. I don't have, you know, they're going to come to the games, and the Big East is in the Garden. So I was like, well, we get to go and go. Why not BC? BC academically was an excellent school. Right now, I mean, any regular student can tell you it's hard as hell to get into BC, you know, unless you have, like, you know, 1,400 SAT scores. It's one of those types of schools. You know, Boston's a college town. One of my good friends went to Harvard, Ralph James, you know, he's over there. So we're like, yo, you want to be at Harvard? I'm going to be at BC. So we get to
That's right.
So
that's right.
It was a lot of pluses, and I selected BC from all the schools that, you know, was recruiting me at the time. But when I got there, so the transition was tough because, I mean, the first practice, I'm dribbling down court, thinking I'm nice, you know, and, you know, Dana Barros rips me. Then he fast.
Dana Barros. Wow.
Comes down and says, give me that, freshman. Comes down, do a 360 dunk. And he's nothing but 5'10", but 5'10". Maybe 5'9".
Wow.
Do a 360 dunk. Welcome to the Big East. I was like, oh shit, I better strap in. So, but yeah, he actually became one of my good guys, man. Like when he's at Philly, when he's playing at Philly, I would go down and hang out with him all the time. You know. And
how was he as a teammate?
He was great, man. As a teammate, you know, he's one of those guys that worked the hardest in practice. You know, like most of the dogs. He was like, yo, cuz at the end of the game, I want the ball. I played point my freshman year. I played point, and I was running them off screens. And then my sophomore year, I was all point because Jamie Benton, who was a senior when I was, and that's when Dana was a Dana was a junior, but his senior year and my sophomore year, I was the point, and I was running them off screens. Man, I was there when I was just watching him getting assists when he had 43 against Pittsburgh in the win at Pitt. You know what I mean? Like things like that. You're just like, man, I had about 10 assists thanks to.
Yeah, but as you on the side, I mean on the court, looking at him, we cheering for you.
Oh yeah,
you know, we cheering for Dana too.
Yeah.
But you our guy. We like, you know what I'm saying? Right there, my guy, right there, every play.
Yeah. So
that's right.
So that, but I mean, if you remember, I was playing a lot of 1, 2, and 3, and you know, and I mean, I don't care if they had to be from 6'6" and thin, all the way down to a quick little guard. Arnold Bernard type. I had to guard him every all the time. A little fast guard.
Salute to my guy Arnold Bernard. That's right. That's right.
Know, like to
fast as shit. Yes.
And that, you know, he's one of the fastest guys I had to guard ever. You know what I mean? But talk about New York City legends. But yeah, so yeah, that was it.
Bobby was such a shutdown defender and one of the best defenders in the whole country. I wanted to know what guy who everybody thought was going to bust your ass that you shut down.
You know, I played Sherman pretty good. Sherman Douglas from Syracuse. We actually beat them at home one time. He didn't really score that much. And Sherman's a hard-nosed DC guy. I give him much love. We played in the league for years. But he didn't really like drop 30 on me ever. You know what I mean? Like he did.
What'd you say? Say that again. I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Sherman never like dropped a whole bunch of points on me when I was guarding him.
Right.
You know,
and he was giving everybody the business.
He was giving everybody business, and you know, he was just a good headsy kind of player, really smart player. But we beat them, and they had the crew. They had Billy Owens. They had Thompson.
Yeah, Derek Coleman, Ronnie Cycli, and all those guys.
Yep. We played we played them at BC, and actually I broke my nose, and we was on ESPN and everything. I broke my nose, and I had to throw my the mask off because they made this mask for me. I threw that thing off because I couldn't see, I couldn't shoot.
Right.
So I made this move that was kind of crazy, the 360 on the left-hand side. They were calling me the Mass Marvel. It was so funny, man. It was so funny, but we beat them, and Derek was like, I can't believe we lost to BC. I'm quitting the team. That's how competitive it was. I mean, it was so competitive in the Big East during that time. I mean, we went to Syracuse, they throwing oranges at us. You know, like it was
30,000 people. Crazy.
Screaming, throwing oranges at us. And we would fight we had a fight at Providence, Villanova we fought. I mean, it was just tough.
And look, the game's a lot tougher. You got away with an elbow too. They didn't throw you off the game. That wasn't a flagrant, right?
Yeah.
Guy hit the ground. It was just a regular foul.
You ain't picking him up either. You looking at it like
No. And sometimes I gotta yell at my players like, yo, fam, why you open them up?
Exactly. Sportsmanship.
You don't stand over him.
Yeah.
You just go about your business.
Exactly. Go about your business. So the other players that did well, Jason Matthews was a good shooter, and he was tough to guard because he would run off screens. So he was tough. Their hair was really tough too because they're both about my size, and they were both really good players that was tough. But I played them well.
They could run off screens and get their own shot.
Yeah, I played both of those guys pretty well because of my size and my quickness. And I thought I made it hard for them. I mean, Terry still had his 20 points, but he didn't have 40, you know what I mean? And Matthew, sometimes I kept him to like 15, 16 when he was a 20. You know, so it's like you don't want them to go off. You know? That's
right.
You want to make sure
you keep them under 30, you did your job.
Yeah, and then Sean and I were cool. Sean and I went over Europe together. Sean Miller.
Sean, who's that? Sean who?
Sean Miller.
Okay, yep, the shooter.
The shooter.
And coach.
Coach for Arizona.
Yeah.
So Sean
Yep.
and I went overseas for like this all-star Big East team. And that's in '88 when when they were doing the Olympics. So we played in Yugoslavia and played against Drazen Petrovic. And
How was that?
we go.
Because I know he didn't stop running. If somebody running you off screens and running around the court like Steph, he was the first.
So Drazen Petrovic lit me up, and I didn't know who he was. I'm like, he was a Michael Jordan of Europe. I didn't know at the time. They had Drazen, they had Kukoc. Kukoc was like 16, 17. He was younger at the time. They had all.
It's crazy, yo.
All those Yugoslavian and Croatian guys. Stojkovic, like a bunch of guys, big 7-footers. You're like, can these guys move? Man,
Right.
I mean, we had a decent team. We had from Georgetown, Jared Jackson. His son's now playing at the Grizzlies also. Jaren and Bobby Winston. Bobby Martin. We had what's the gift from? We had a couple of good guys, and we went overseas and they lit us up. And because we were going around playing them because they were doing the Olympic stuff. They were getting ready for the Olympics.
For the Olympics, it's like getting them ready for
the Olympics. So we went over to play against them.
That's crazy, yo.
Yeah, that team was it was interesting. But I mean, that's why when we talk about having basketball take you all over the world and show you things and people, I'm so blessed to be a part of that, right? Be able to say, I played in Cameron Arena and when at BC and with
the hands like this, right?
Which is crazy to me, but I mean, I saw them lose today, and I'm like, yeah, they need those fans because was it yesterday? I saw them blown out.
A lot of good teams are losing. Duke lost. Kentucky lost 2 games to mid-majors.
Yep.
Like you see it right now is becoming
balanced.
Display is flattening out.
Yep.
It ain't high Division I. Remember that high Division I, mid-major, low.
Yep.
Because these dudes in mid-majors, they stay in 4 years. These one and dones.
They leaving. Exactly. And that's exactly it. Those Wichita States and Creighton's teams are
right. You gotta bring.
You're like, Creighton, I'm never gonna go there. I'm gonna go higher
than
everyone.
Facts.
So
real.
Yeah. So you're right. They stay in long.
What we know now is crazy, right? Compared to what we knew then.
Yeah.
So now I want to go back to college real quick. This is the James Majors question. James Majors plays for Bishop Lockland, Seton Hall.
Mm-hmm.
To 85 or 84, 85 to 88, wherever he graduated, they were getting $5 a game for meal money. You guys in Boston College in the Big East, just like they were.
Yeah.
How much were you guys getting for meal money? And like I'm gonna say this again, people, this is all legal money that's in the budget from where we travel.
Sure.
It's like where NBA guys get a stipend every game that's outside of their check. Yeah. That's what the NBA gives these guys for daily meals. So, what did you guys, if you remember, what did you guys get on a good road trip? You guys fly out to California, stay 4 days. How much do you guys banking?
We probably get about 100 each for the 4 days. We get about 25 to 30
for 4 days.
It depends. Depends on if they're gonna feed us. Because a lot of we're not eating off of that. That's just
listen. The pregame meal, we don't even count that, right?
No, we don't. We don't that money just for us. Like here,
right?
Here's 100 for it depends. Like if it's New York City, it may be more. Like when we go to the Big East tournament, it's definitely more. But it's not like it's nothing crazy. BC was cheap. I mean, shoot, they had Dana Barros picking up bottles like this to pay off. It wasn't like it was Syracuse or some of the other spots that was getting hit off. But
I went to Fairleigh Dickinson, and all those other schools was bigger than my school, and I'm still to this day, no one has gotten the same amount of money we was given.
Yeah, because you're a rich school in Hackensack, New Jersey. I used to live right down the street from Fairleigh Dickinson, right near T-Neck.
I just think whoever was handling that money, no. All right, let me explain something, B. Did you know this? Did you know the meaning of an upset and why they call upsets an upset in college sports?
No, I don't know what. I mean, I know that means like a higher level team would lose to a team that may be ranked lower, and that therefore it would be considered an upset. But I don't know.
Okay.
A different meaning for that. So,
something my coach told me, and when I finally became captain, I was a sophomore. My coach sat me down, was saying, Glenn, when we kind of explain to you and tell you guys that this basketball, college basketball is a business, it really is a business.
Oh, yeah.
And he was hyped because I guess he just signed the contract for us to play Wake Forest 2 years. We go down there, and then they come to us and play. And I said, okay, we gonna bust their ass. I don't care, whatever.
Yeah.
I said, Harding, you don't get it. You don't get it. And he goes, you see this? It's a check. Yes, it's for $80,000.
Wow.
I said, what? I said, what y'all betting? He said, no, Harding, no. Wake Forest gives Fairleigh Dickinson $80,000.
Yeah.
Some of this goes to the school, a little bit goes to the conference, and the rest goes for our travel.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where you guys get your meal money and stuff from.
Mm.
He said, Harding, but when we go down there and kick their ass, they're going to be upset.
Upset. You get it?
So I was like, of course. He said, Harding, you still don't get it. It's the business of basketball. That's where the word upset comes from. Nobody's mad because they lost the game. They mad, but they mad because they lost that bread.
Yeah.
They paying us for a win, Harding.
Yeah. 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 I know that some teams do that, where they go to
all teams.
Yeah.
If you look at Duke, look at all teams' first game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially the big colleges.
Yeah, the pancake. We call them the pancakes, right? Where they played Furman the other day, and like
there you
Furman
go.
Like, oh man, we're gonna get a check from this because we know we're supposed to lose, and yeah. So they're supposed to lose, and sometimes, like you said, you go in there and kick their butt, and then they get upset. So I can definitely agree with that. Like you definitely, if you do that. I'm trying to think if we had any. No.
Two said y'all had Jimmy the Greek, so y'all had some money.
Well, just before I went to, that whole scandal at BC, prior to me getting there, it was a lot of scandal and a lot of money there. A couple of years, maybe 3 years before I got there, it was crazy. And I didn't know that until like I saw it like after the fact.
Right.
The point shaving and all that at BC.
All right, so let me go a step further.
Mm-hmm.
Shane Gisdom was on the other night. Big Snake played for Westinghouse. Mm-hmm. Captain Nappy. Mm-hmm. And I also interviewed Bud, right? Lawrence Pollard, the coach at Jefferson, used to play for Boys High, great. Mm-hmm. We were all talking about Hirsch. I don't know if you know Hirsch that used to work at Westinghouse.
No.
Hirsch and Neclario, who's the coach at Cardozo, mm-hmm. They boys, right?
Oh, okay.
One Jewish, one Italian. they used to have this crew called the Hirsch All-Stars and take a bunch of kids from different parts of the city, a lot of us from Brooklyn, and we would go play in jails and different functions. The guy who was footing this bill for us to play, which I found out later on, was Richard Perry. The guy who was fixing the Boston College games in 1973.
Wow.
They called him Richard the Fixer Perry.
Richard Perry.
Mind you, we didn't know this. It wasn't until I went to MCI and we sitting in our coach house and we watching Syracuse play. And it was UNLV. And at halftime, they had an expose about all the stuff that was going on at UNLV. Lloyd Daniels getting shot. And they talked about this guy, Richard the Fixer Perry.
Yeah.
I said, oh, shit, that's Fix. I didn't know. Yo, let me tell you, Bob.
Yeah.
We talked about this the other night. We used to come from games, summer league games, LG, wherever we played that. Afterwards, we would go eat. And we would go to these fancy restaurants. And dudes, now mind you, we sweated all up with sneakers. And there would be a line outside. The restaurant would be packed. And dudes would be coming with tables, making room for us like a mob movie.
Yeah.
Again, when you're young and you living in it, you don't really pay attention.
Yeah.
So as I'm researching, as I get older, Goodfellas comes on. Watch the movie Goodfellas again because they mentioned the Boston College games in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
But they just don't mention Duke name.
Yeah, that's true. Crazy. It's real. It happened. That Atanza and JFK.
Yes. Yep.
And they shot the black guy. That was your boy.
Sammy Jackson.
Yeah, Sammy Jackson. They killed him for real.
Yes. But there was a black dude that was down with them.
Yeah. So yeah, that.
Yo, this goes so deep. I can't wait to get my guy Bimmy on here for season 2 because there was things that happened in Queens, and I don't want to turn this into no street show, but there was things that happened in Queens that kind of changed the face of Queens.
Yeah.
And it all was connected through that whole mob thing and how they sent a black dude out to Queens. Queens was a nice suburb. Then all of a sudden, Queens started getting numbers, drugs, and heroin.
Yeah. Did you?
It's crazy, man.
You talking about freckle face Bimby?
Yes.
He went to my brother went to Jackson with them. They all played ball with Boo and.
So this is the connection. This is why I want him on the show, right? Because my guy Leroy Brantley, who is Khalil Brantley's dad, he's the #1 player in the city. We were talking, and I said, "Y'all I saw Bimmy on the interview, and he said he played for Jackson, and he was nice." He was like, "Nah, son was good."
Yo,
had LeBron Mapp on. LeBron Mapp, same thing. Nah, son was good. All these stamps. I'm like, yo, I want to hear about the basketball stories. You get what I'm saying? That's what I want to talk about.
So I would go to.
So I reached out to him.
Yeah.
And we made a connection. And he said when he gets some time, we definitely gonna do it.
So it's interesting because my brother played on that team that lost to. They lost to, and I sent you the picture too. They lost to Ron Strickland in the championship at St. John's. So he was on with Boo Harvey, Tree Carn.
Coaches we had in New York City. Right now, there's no successful basketball programs where kids could go to besides the mainstays of the Gauchos and the Riverside, who weren't started by anybody that looked like us, which it serviced people that look like us. But we had a lot of great players and a lot of great coaches that came out of New York City, and there should be things for kids that they can use and be tangible and be a part of through all these years. Because it was done for us. Right?
Yeah.
Where were we at? I know we
were talking about. I was going to tell you that my brother was playing for Jackson.
Yes.
And my brother Billy Moran, he he played with Boo and Ron Edwards, which is Dave Edwards' uncle.
That's right, to Jackson, because Jackson did play against Truman. And Truman
beat them.
Just let them shoot jump shots, and that's how they won.
That's how, yeah. And Strickland was amazing that day. He was killing everybody. And yeah, I mean, I think they had the big guy who's now a councilman, Carney. Carney.
Robert. He will be on season 2 as well. It's my guy from Brooklyn, yes.
From Brooklyn.
Carnegie will be on season 2 for sure.
Carnegie. And he went to Alabama. Nice guy. So I would go to my brother's practice because, like, when I was away at prep school, I came back and I would hang out at the gym and see them and watch some games when I was back from prep school. And but they had a really good team. You know, they went all the way to the championship at St. John's and lost. And then it's so funny. That's why I sent you the picture of my brother and Strick, because he was talking to Strick like, yo, I held you to like 25. And that kid had like 30 points. Get out of here. What are you talking about?
Well, what? I said it again. Say it again.
I was at we were at Charlotte All-Star Weekend, and Strickland came in. My brother was talking mess about how he you know, D'd him up and, you know, and all this other stuff. I mean, man, I said, first of all, you had a donut, and Strickland had about 25, 26, and like 24 assists because he was killing the guards.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he's like, man, I'm gonna.
I put up that article not too long ago too.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah, because I had Raw. Raw was on the show. Raw was up here.
Who? Ron?
I have Raw Strickland up here. Yes.
Rod. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rod. Yeah, he's a nice guy. I don't know him that well because he's more my brother's era, but it was good to see him good to see a legend.
Cool as a fan, yo. Cool as a fan.
Yeah.
And gave it up to the New York City Guards. Yeah. Like you would think a guy who'd been away from the city, who kind of forgot those guys who kind of helped mold and shape him.
Yeah.
Nah, no, he didn't.
Yeah.
He dropped the names, told the dudes where they was at and what they were doing and how they helped sharpen the skills. So by the time he went outside the city,
he was
he was good.
Yeah, he actually, I think he don't get the credit he deserved as an NBA player. I think he was so much better than what his legend in the NBA was. I think everywhere he went, he was just a solid guard. He scored any.
Scroll down and watch the interview. He was very good at interviewing and filling those blanks. So, so now we talk about the transition.
Hello? Yeah, I think you're going back in and out.
Yo, thanks a lot, Eric Barnes. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you. As soon as we get those hoodies in and those t-shirts, I'm shipping yours straight to you. Yeah, we were talking about the transition, right? From being a student athlete to the real world. How was your transition?
The transition was interesting because being Ralph James, we were actually getting we were working out. He had a Philly I just went over and played in like Turkey for a hot second and then came back. I was just like, I'm I'm burnt out from playing all 20 some odd years, and decided just like to hang it up. And which was, it was one of those things I was torn. But I think for the most part, it was fine. I mean, I started trying to find what then I've been working with the city and health and hospitals.
Okay.
My first job was in human resources, and I've been at Bellevue Hospital for like 20 years, and now I'm with finance down with central office. So, but for a long time, any disaster happens, I was involved with for the city.
Wow.
So, I mean,
salute to you, my brother.
From 9/11 to SARS to the blackout to Ebola, now to now it's COVID. Yeah. Now that's what I've been doing for the last 29 years, is working with the city.
Wow.
I ran transportation, the transfer office, bringing patients from different facilities to Bellevue, because we were a facility of excellence in heart transplants and neurosurgery. I was director of admitting and a director of the emergency room. Administratively, I had over 100 and some odd people working with me and for me, and now I work as a director in revenue management, where I'm setting up all these hubs for financial counseling. So, like I have hubs in Lincoln and Coney Island and Cumberland.
Really?
Yeah, these little hubs where they, like, if a patient comes in and they want to know, they don't have much money and they don't have insurance, my staff will go through the process, and that whole Obamacare, they go through the marketplace and try to get the patient, insurance, try to help them out, so they won't pay the entire bill, because no one can afford. Right. How healthcare is so expensive, so they give it a fee scale, which, depending on how much money you make, that's how much you should be paying. So that's real. So that's there's a lot of people like us I'm helping. I always been
that's dope, Bob.
I always been a person that want to help other people. I was thinking about finance and doing this, that, and the other. And I was like, you know what? I just want to help people. In healthcare, that's one thing, is the consistent thing, is that people do get sick and they do need help. And it's been a blessing, because I think helping people and helping my staff, like all the people that reported to me, most of them became directors and senior directors in different departments within, and I feel gratifying to basically help my fellow person, and that's and feel like help defense. I'm always there. Like, if somebody's driving, I'm right there in the hole to strip it and go the other way.
Look, you've always been a great guy, man. So I don't doubt all the great things that you're doing right now, man.
I haven't met my wife.
Sure.
I met my wife during 9/11. She went to Brown, and she basically was an engineer, and she knows databases, and I knew operations. So we got we created this thing that I think the Department of Health kind of using now, where is a
somebody calling you, right? Somebody keep calling you?
Yeah, that's my wife. I didn't tell her I was gonna be doing, going to on the pod, and she keeps calling me. I don't know if she wants to know.
So what happens is, if someone call you, right?
Yeah.
You can just and then reconnect.
Yeah. So my wife is the president of a hospital out here, so it's a blessing. And I'm still working for the city, and I come back, like I was telling you, I come back every couple of weeks to work on things. So yeah, I'm blessed, man. I tell you, I'm so blessed, and I get to see Vincent every so often, and Kenny. I saw Kenny the other day working out in the beach, So I still got fam out here, so it's great.
That's right. And you're going to be my go-through. Because my bucket list, Mark Jackson, Kenny, Smith, Derek Chivas, who was my roommate in Empire State Games, right?
Derek was your roommate in Empire State Games?
Derek, listen, that was one of the reasons why I didn't play in the Wheelchair Classic game, because I took that trip. Listen, it was a once in a lifetime opportunity. I was the youngest guy on the team. I was a senior going to, it was like I was just finishing up my senior year. This has been my 5th year, or no, my 4th year playing or 3rd year playing open. But it was Boo Harvey, Ross Strickland, Derek Chivas, Dwayne Martin, Dow Middleton, Eric Johnson, Eric Brown, Pete Knight from third base. It was, we had a crew, and I was the youngest guy. And I didn't know I made the team until I think 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, when Coach Brown called my house and like, yo, the bus is here. I said, you didn't call and tell me you made the team. He said, I thought you knew about how well you play. I was like, I'll be there. 10 minutes.
So was that the one that wasn't when they went to Buffalo, right?
Yeah, no, we was in Syracuse. We was in Syracuse.
Because I remember we had the all blue joints with the and we had.
I was in Buffalo. I was in Buffalo as well.
So did you play? You must have played on. You did. Did you play with our team, or did you play with the older guys?
Huh?
Did you play with? Because Sweet Pea, was that Buffalo or was that?
Hold on, because you're Buffalo. You're going in and out. What you said again?
I don't know. Was that the one we had all orange, or we had the blue and the yellow?
I played when we had the blue and the yellow, and also when we had the orange.
Oh, so you had with the zipper? That was an ugly uniform.
I got pictures. Me, Antoine Lewis, a few of us was on that team.
So were you on my team? You must have been on the team.
I know we played together on one team somewhere, Bob.
Because
I know I played 5 years in Empire State game. I played my junior year, my senior year, and I played 3 open years.
Because I played the younger. I'm trying to figure out. It was a while ago, but I know I had.
What year, B?
I don't remember. I had to.
Because I played. I think it was 85. 80. No. I played 86, 87, 88, 89, and 90.
So you played the majority of the older years.
Open, yes, because you only played high school 1 year, yeah?
Yeah, so I played, because Sweet Pea was on our team. Sweet Pea...
No, definitely not.
Sweet Pea was on my team when... So my dad dropped me off downtown to pick up the bus. Sweet Pea came Lord Daniels came there. I love him to death, but he didn't really have much. So my dad we went to go buy him some stuff and sweatpants and stuff. But yeah, that he was on a team, on that team, and that's the same team that we had. I think Antoine Lewis. We had Carton Screen, Paco. We had Pat Burke.
Antoine Lewis. You sure Antoine Lewis is on that team?
I'm pretty sure he was on the team. Or was that Keith?
Nah, I think his first year was my year.
Was it? Maybe it wasn't.
Yes.
So maybe it was.
I don't think he wasn't on that team with Paco and Sweet and all of them. Antoine Lewis' first year was my year.
Oh, okay. So I guess I stand.
Yeah, but oh man.
Team though.
Listen, I know your wife don't kill you for being on here.
Nah.
Hope you don't get in trouble.
Get in trouble.
All right. Time to have some fun now.
Okay.
Top 5 Queen ball players.
Wow. I got that. Top 5 ball players. To go with Kenny.
It's your 5. It's only your 5.
I would say.
Which Kenny, Smith or Anderson? It could be both. You got 5.
I would say, because I know these guys, I would say both of them. Both of them.
Gotcha. Uh-huh.
Trying to think. True Carter. I like
True Carter, another Queens legend we got to get up here. I'm in contact with BJ. Definitely going to get me True, yeah?
I love True's game for such a small guy. He reminds me of Dana a little bit, but I love True. And, you know, for someone who didn't really go like to a huge thing, I love Kevin Young's game. He's kind of a slasher. I mean, he's not, but, you know, he's a legend in terms of like, they call him Kevin Legend. He's one of my favorite players.
What's his full name?
Kevin Young.
You know, y'all just call him Kevin Legend.
Kevin Young.
Kevin Young, got you.
He's one of the legends out there. And I mean, there's so many great ball players. I mean, it's hard to.
You got two more.
Shoot.
What about the guy who you said earlier that was the best player in the neighborhood?
He was good, but I don't know if he would be. I mean, Kenny Norwood was one of the best, definitely. But
Kenny Norwood, yes, definitely.
He was one of the best. I mean, during like, you know, a little before me, but because I looked up to him. I think that's a different question. Looking up to someone versus, you know, being one of the top players. I mean, a lot of the guys from, you know, the 40 projects. I mean, there's so many good players over there. Oh man! And
stand up.
You had the guy that went to DePaul from Forest Hills.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many. There's so many good ball players. I mean, it's shoot, and God rest his soul. You know, in terms of points and average, I like little Dave Edwards. That he averaged 44. I think he led.
Dave Edwards, right?
Yeah, he. I mean, what?
Yes.
Georgetown.
Salute to Dave Edwards and R.I.P.
Man, R.I.P. Man, I mean, there's so many great players.
That's your five. That's your five. Top 5 players you played against.
In Queens or in New York?
Period.
Oh man.
Anywhere.
So Grant Hill, we went to Duke. Grant Hill was a phenomenal freshman. So he's probably one of the hardest players who had guard skills. So Grant Hill was a tough one. And who else would be top 5? I mean, DeHare was another one. Beast.
Tough.
Terry DeHare. And I had a guard, Dragan Petrovic. I mean, I had to guard his
Dang.
Guard. It was like we played like a 3-game series. So every night I was like, damn, I got to guard him again. So, you know,
that's when you know somebody a problem. You like, I got to guard him again.
Damn. Yeah. So he was tough. And I'm trying to think of just the people from the biggies. I mean, God rest his soul, Malik Sealy.
Malik Sealy, definitely a problem. R.I.P. Yep.
Banks those Georgetown guards, they were all like little pit bulls when I had to guard them when I went down to Washington. I mean, you can
Oh yeah.
Was it Banks and not Banks, was it
Gene Banks.
Gene Banks, Smith, they all was like little rock rounders. I mean, Thompson had them. They saw me. They were like licking their chops because they were so much smaller than me. They get all up
That's right.
me, and it was tough. It was tough bringing the ball over, man. I think we turned the ball over, and I was the point guard. It had to be like 3 times, 4 times in a row, and we had the coach had to call a timeout. The one time, but my claim to fame, the one time we did break it, they had Alonzo and Mutombo on the same team, and I laid the ball up over both of them and made a layup. You know, and I'm not a big scorer.
That's something that you, man, look, you pat yourself on the back for that one.
Exactly. I don't know how I did it, but it went in. I was like, and they didn't punch it? Like, I don't know. I think I jumped so quick and threw it up so fast, they didn't have time to react. But
wow.
But there were some serious defensive players there that was tough to. I had to shoot Reggie, and God rest his soul, Reggie Lewis.
Reggie Lewis was a beast. Let me tell you, being at MCI, watching him play in Northeastern, killing. Nothing fancy either. Just giving you straight work. To me, he was a better Paul Pierce. So when people see Paul Pierce, I tell people, because Paul Pierce's game it was very basic, but he was a better Paul Pierce.
Yes, because one of the things, just so you know, they used to come in the summers when we were at BC. All of them came except for Bird. Bird back was all jacked up, so he couldn't come. But Ainge came, D. Brown, McHale. Parrish didn't come either. He was busy smoking the weed, but
and look, I tell people that's the reason why they call him Chief.
Exactly, pass it. But
people didn't know why they called him Chief, and I gave D. Brown the business too.
Oh, did you give D. Brown?
Yes.
So D. Brown would come, but Reggie had this shot where you couldn't stop. You can't block it. It's from way back here.
Right here.
And
you're not getting it.
He was a problem. He would work out all of that, and he was a nice guy. So God rest his soul. So those guys, I mean, all those mid 6'6" guys and 6'7" guys, like Malik Him, and Petrovich, Grant Hill, they were a little too tall. I thought I would get them with my quickness, but they combated that, but with their athleticism and their just demeanor. They were just tough. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So Grant Hill, Drodzen, Malik, Reggie, those are probably one of the and Seton Hall, what's the name? Those are probably their head. Those are probably one of the 5 that I always had. You know, it was tough trying to guard them. So
you being out in California, seeing the California basketball and how they kind of taking over the country. Have you been paying attention to anything that's been going over in the city, in New York?
I really haven't so much, and I just got out here. So when I was in New York, New Jersey, I was staying mostly on the other side in like Teaneck, and like taking my son to all his games and my daughter. So I was focusing on more, junior high school games, not so much high school and seeing what's going on. But they had, before all this happened at Lincoln, they were having some crazy games. My boy Tracy, he was on the mic. He was telling me, he's like, yo, you got to come out here. It's bananas.
No, Lincoln, because it's one of the Nike parks.
Yeah.
The only thing I just don't like about those games is just the one-on-one aspect that they have, right? You bring in pro rules to the high school game, which kind of puts our New York guys back, because we get in all to the handle and getting the one-on-one, and then you go to college and you got to run a system, and it changes every day.
Yeah. And they don't do
right?
it.
And if you don't got one of these,
you're in trouble. You're in trouble.
So
that was the thing that saved some of us, and me included, where I can shoot a little bit, and I was able to handle a little bit. So it was a blessing to have that, to have both. And I think going, having Vince and going to the 5-star, because I met a guy who helped. He was one of the assistants for Chicago Bulls. He's well known. He was like a shock doctor. I spent.
Ted, is it the older guy?
Oh, older guy.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
His son is a coach too. But I spent literally 20 minutes with this guy at 5-star, and he showed me one little thing. And when I was telling you, I didn't miss one shot at 5-star.
Right.
I was shooting a very high percentage. It was rare that I missed a shot, and my defense was flawless. So that kind of kickstart me. That one camp kickstart me to, all of the accolades that I received after.
Really? Because look, Ross Strickland said because he didn't go to the 5-star camp, they didn't select him to the All-American game. His name Tex Winners. You talking about Tex Winners?
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, Tex Winners. Yeah, Tex. What you talking about? Tex Winners? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago, my team. I just didn't remember his name.
Yeah, he was.
So
great.
now, my brother.
He was great. And what's that?
No, what were you saying? You was gonna say something?
No, I was saying that I can see how that happened to Rod, where
with Ross Strickland, right?
Yeah,
he said the politics, and I don't want to give too much away of the interview. When you watch it, you'll see what he talked about. But he didn't point no fingers at anyone. That's the great thing.
Yeah.
He took a lot of ownership.
Yeah. I mean, if he didn't want to go, but I can see that. Garfinger was good in the sense where he got all the good people and all of the coaches' respect. So sometimes
politics.
Yeah, the politics do happen. He said there's a guard from Chicago and everyone can't make the team, but Ron definitely should have made it. You can't tell me he's not a McDonald All-American ever.
That's what I said. I was like, how did they not just bypass that and say, you know what, this guy's a great. But again, the higher you go up in this game, the more politics play a part.
You're right about that. Because, I mean, there have been, as you know, there's probably players that would be, NBA bound, and you were like, he's a sure thing, and it don't work out. And you're like, why? So yeah, it's something someone said about someone, or they said it's the wrong person. It gets like that. But, yeah, I could definitely see how that could have been a problem. But, what a nice guy. And
man.
And Jedrick, I talk to him every so often. He lives in East Orange, and Jedrick Irving, his daughter, we were trying to get my daughter and his daughter to hook up because my daughter played ball and his daughter was not really into it. He's like, oh, I wanted to play. But we didn't get a chance to hook them up because my daughter, she's one of those girls where she likes it because daddy likes it. Like she's not, hardcore or whatever, but she's a decent player. She's lefty. I was like, babe, you can get 10 extra points until they figure out who you are.
Right.
So which way you going? But she's able to use both hands. I'm trying to work with her. I think she's gonna be all right. But my son can shoot. Like he could really shoot. He's a shooter. Needs to work on his athleticism. I think he gets this from his mom. But my daughter's she's not as athletic as I am. But my daughter's
right.
She's very athletic, my daughter. But he just knows the game because he's been around it. He's just one of those kids where he knows the game and he just needs to get in better shape. And I guess hopefully he will. He's 13. We'll see.
That'll come around.
Yeah,
that'll come around.
But yeah, man, I'm definitely enjoying this pep.
Oh man, listen, brother, it's great to connect with a lot of my old guys. Yeah, and just see where we were. where we at right now in our life.
Yeah.
I'm a dean of a high school,
Awesome.
and also a coach as well,
Uh-huh.
and also mentor kids as well,
That's great.
trouble youth. So
Yeah.
we out here, man. We out here doing God's work, man. That's it.
Right. That's right. It's good, man. And I tell you, you always wonder what happened to this guy? What happened to? So it's good to catch up and talk about, basketball heads. And I'm totally a basketball head, and I was coaching a little bit with the young kids because with my daughter, we rec leagues and stuff, and I love being around the kids, and so I can see myself definitely doing a little more coaching out here once things open up, because it's a little bit tough right now to get people.
Yeah, it's kind of reversed. Like y'all going through what we went through already.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
it's bad.
Things settle down, man.
Yeah, things got to settle down. So, unfortunately, like I know there's been tournaments and stuff out east, and my son's like, man, they playing out there, and I'm not playing here. And he wants to play. So I'm like, dude, you can't go anywhere out here. It's too hot right now. You got to stay.
That's right. That's right. And you fly somewhere, you got quarantine 90 days.
Exactly. So it's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yo, Bob, man, it's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah.
Whenever you want to come back on, whenever you got something to say, whenever your son signs his, letter of intent to go to college, we're going to celebrate that, man.
All right.
For sure.
All right, man. I
appreciate you, man. And listen, someone nominated you. You got to nominate someone else. All right?
All right.
So plant those seeds, Vincent. And tell Vincent too, man. Even the people who haven't played for him still revere him. And he is loved in New York City.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, he's been in Houston and now California for a minute. But yeah,
right. Tell Kenny, even though he hasn't came back to New York, what he did when he planted his seeds and he took his aim high kids and he's still helping kids. Yeah. That's still a part of New York City.
Yeah.
Let him know we love him, all right?
All right, I'll let him know.
Love you, Bob. Appreciate you, my brother.
All right, good talking to you, my brother. Take
all right.
care, Glenn.
No doubt.
Peace, boo.
All right. My God, Bobby Moran, man. Look. Can't say more about this guy. A great player and an even better person. You don't want Bobby being on the other side of you and you got the ball. Because I don't think you're going to really be able to do too much. Being one of the best defensive players in the country at Boston College. And in New York City before he left and went to Berkshire and he came back. It's my guy. We want to salute him. Salute everybody who tuned in. Salute to you, my guy, Bernard Mitchell. Ballhead, love you, my brother. Thank you, man. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. This is the 99th show. We're moving into number 100. Number 100. It's been great, man. Long time. But like I said, thank you for checking out Basketball Heads, the official home for New York City basketball. Peace.